Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation.
Welcome to the Dynamic Hour. Again, another opportunity for you and I to have a meaningful conversation using radio and the social media as the platforms to connect. We have a lot to discuss today. Every Sunday from 1 to 2, we engage in a robust intellectual conversation because we want you to be in a better position to reason. We want you to have a higher level of consciousness. So when people come at you with all kinds of talk or gossip or propaganda, you're able to discern. You're able to navigate properly through all of these. I want to encourage those on Facebook, as usual, please share the live. Those on YouTube, do the same. I want to start off by saying I had the opportunity, and as usual, every Saturday, I go to the market every Saturday morning. I have been going there for the last 13 years, consistently so. And I had the opportunity to witness firsthand the situation in the market. Because for me, I do not leave things up for people to come and tell me what they saw or what they experienced. I don't like secondhand information. And especially when you have something like, the vendors moving from the stadium car park back to the market. I had to go myself to witness what was taking place there. And I can tell you, it was business as normal, business as usual. It was like what it used to be, where all the vendors would be in one place and people will come and buy. And look, I agree with the vendors that there was a need for consultation, for meetings, for engagements. I agree with that. And I still hold that, to me dearly. There is a need to have meetings, to have consultations with, people, stakeholders who will be impacted by something you intend to do. But I explain thoroughly that the technocrats within the ministries, they are doing whatever they want to do. And in many instances, what they are doing is intentional. They're out for mischief. They want mayhem. They want chaos. They want problems. And they don't care. And hence the reason I encourage the ministers of government to put their feet down, take charge, control the situation. Do not make those technocrats run the show and do whatever they want to do, because ultimately they will embarrass you and you have to face the electorate. Do not leave it up to them. So I went there and it was just pure love. There are some things that must be sorted and addressed. You have a situation with some folks in a particular corner, in that area, playing loud music with obscene, they smoking their weed. I mean, it was that kind of sight in a particular area. It seems as though the person who is in charge of the market has no control over these people. They can do what they want, when they want, and how they want. And you can get it, you get the feedback from the vendors. They are not pleased with the condition in that market when it comes to the loud music, when it comes to the smoking of cigarette and weed and so on in the market area there. That needs to be cleaned up. So there must be a, a teaming up with the Royal Grenada Police Force to get rid of that totally. And from what I understand in going there, uh, there seemed to be a high level of disrespect for the market manager because this person is young and new and you know it's just what it is. But they need to look into that because you don't want it to continue. You had these guys ponging, knocking, drinking, lawlessness. It was like a wreck. You need to control that. And the security should not be only for just the spice market area. If you have a security company working in the market, you need to give them a clear list of responsibilities. It has to be throughout. It just can't be just for the folks in the spice market area. It has to be the entire market. But the police must be involved in this process. But it's very clear. They're Peter boys, right? So Akim, you're correct. I was going to say that. They are Peter boys. And they believe that they can do any and everything and get away with it. In fact, I was not surprised that Chester Humphrey visited the market and spoke to a number of those vendors. I'm not surprised. In fact, that particular situation caused him to resurrect. So he was actually there at the market at a particular time, more so to assess and more so to get a feedback because they thought that this thing would have been chaotic. They thought that, those folks in the corner smoking their weed and smoking their cigarette and playing the loud music and beating up the place and knocking up everything as though they're crazy, that they would, be the talk after Saturday, right? But I'm saying all of this to say to you, you have to understand what is taking place. This thing was well orchestrated, well planned, because those folks still working overtime to undermine the NDC administration. And that is why I stress the need for NDC to understand the politics. So yes, the government is doing X and doing Y, but you have to understand the politics, and that's where the PR comes in, and that's where your foot soldiers step in, because you want information, you want to know what's happening. In fact, yesterday I thought the ministers should have at least walked through the market, go and shop if they have to, buy some fruits and vegetables and so on. They should have been around town interacting and mixing with people. That is what I thought would have happened, but it did not. Because you have to be tactical. Politics is about timing. Politics is like a chessboard game, right? It's like a draft game or chess, a game of chess. You need to know what to move, when to move it. You have to be tactical. When I went there yesterday, I normally don't take out any video of me doing my normal market, errand and so on. No, but I did yesterday to show people that I was there, one, and also to see that things are normal and peaceful. And a lot of people were happy to see that because they thought that it would be drama in the city, right? So again, you have to be tactical, you have to be strategic, and that is why Kem Jones will always be relevant, listened to, respected, and believed. People believe what I say because what I say will always be the facts and the truth. And I understand the politics, and that is what many of those folks are lacking. They don't understand the politics. So here you had Chester Humphrey, resurrected Chester Humphrey, right? Resurrected. The guy came out from wherever he was hiding and he was in the market. Strategically so. Peter was not there, but Chester, and you know Peter and Chester, how they go. I tell you, there is a timeline that they set, the NNP, right? The Peter camp and the Keith Mitchell camp. There is a timeline set. So the NNP were looking at 6 months. They will fall apart, right? The NDC administration. That is what they were looking at. 6 months. There will be instability. There would be problems. There would be chaos, right? Then they realized it did not happen in 6 months. So they moved that timeline to a year. We are about 1 month and 3 weeks from 1 year of NDC being in power, right? So they intensify the actions because they're seeking to obstruct, they're seeking to undermine, they're seeking to destabilize the government. That is what the NNP is actually doing, in my belief. And they have a timeline for that. So when the 1 year comes and that doesn't happen, then they move to 1 year and 6 months. When it doesn't happen, then they move to 2 years because 5 years is very short. And they go every 6 months, and you add that on. So NDC has to understand the politics. It's not just government only. You have to marry government and politics because the politics is what will get you re-elected. The NNP is all about the politics. Yes, there is serious infighting within the NNP. We know that. And do not believe Peter David will be the leader of the NNP or Keith Mitchell will be the leader of the NNP next election. Do not believe that because Keith Mitchell will love to have somebody who is new, who is fresh, right? Parachute them and get them into the NNP as the leader of the NNP, who will always listen to Keith and who may promise Keith Mitchell the governor general position once they win. So the political landscape come the next election might be totally different. I mean, they're hoping that this government, mess up or fail. They're hoping that, and they're working towards that. Because if that happens, then Keith Mitchell believes that he stands a chance of coming back. And he's not coming back because he loves Grenada. He wants to come back, in my belief, to take revenge. And a lot of people in my belief. So we have to understand the politics. And yes, there are some people out there who are still dripping with jubilation and excitement from the victory of the NDC. Many of them, they don't know politics. They don't understand politics. And they would say things like, well, they're dead. They can't come back. And Keith this and NNP this. And that's how they, and they go on and on. And I just laugh because they don't understand the politics and what it takes to make sure that they're politically dead and that they don't resurrect or come back at all. They just don't. So government is performing, but what's about the politics, the PR work at government level and at the party level? You have to understand the politics to really, solidify yourself for the next election. So the NNP, they know that their supporters, generally speaking, will not go anywhere, meaning they will forever support them. You could bring a gold chair, you could bring a car, you could give them a house, you could give them land, they will still support the NNP. The NNP knows that. They're fully aware of that. So as a result, what they do, they're going out there and canvass the list. They're canvassing the list, to ascertain the numbers, to find out how many people out there still support them. They're opening party offices, one in Gov, because St. John is a target. They strengthening Carriacou. Carriacou is a target. St. Patrick East and West, that's a target. And that's how they're functioning. Because what they're doing is saying, okay, between now and then, things might go, So they're focusing on those areas because they see potential there. And they have always done that. In 2008 to 2013, the NNP worked extremely hard from St. John all the way around. St. John, St. Mark, St. Patrick West, St. Patrick East, St. Andrew, the four constituencies there, and they came back down to St. David. They have always gone into the rural areas, targeting the unsuspecting with the hope that things will change, right? That's how they do it. So the politics is so important. And those who are in power or in the chair of power must understand the politics too. So it's good government is functioning. In fact, the first shipment of mango left Grenada for the United States after what? 20 years of that not happening.
Following a rigorous assessment and inspection process, Grenada has made its first shipment of mangoes to the United States in about 20 years. Details in this report from Mina Booker of the Ministry of Agriculture.
After some 20 years of being unable to do so, the first commercial shipment of fresh mangoes left Grenada on Wednesday, destined to hit markets in the United States. Over 4,000 pounds of the fresh fruit was shipped to the United States by well-known trafficker Patrick King, following assessment by and subsequent issuance of his phytosanitary certificate by the Pest Management Unit.
Our role in the effort is to inspect according to an agreement or a work plan with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, where today we are looking at least 10 boxes out of just over 100, and at least we need to inspect at least 150 fruits in that shipment. Inspection is visual for external pests, and also we have done some cutting, looking for internal signs of pest and disease. Our two target pests today for the inspections are mango seed weevil and fruit flies, right? So we are cutting actually through the seed of the mango to see if there is any adult or larval or pupal stages of the mango seed weevil, because that's where you'll actually find them. Thus far today we haven't found any, except for one single mango that had signs of damage internally, but we were not able to see any weevil or larvae. So we think so far that the shipment would meet its standard for entering the U.S. market for the treatment.
That was Pest Management Officer Thaddeus Peters speaking to the Ministry of Agriculture's Public Relations Unit as a two-member team from his office conducted an inspection for visual and internal pests.
Again, that's a good thing, very, very good thing. This is big news, right? Big news. But so government is functioning, government is doing stuff, and that's really, really great. You may not see it featured heavily in the mainstream media because the mainstream media is still controlled by the NNP. In fact, someone asked me if Brian Grimes was the only person who spoke at the media rally, because that's the only person they are featuring more so on GBN and on the other media outfits, right? More so. Yes, they might feature now and then the others, but generally speaking, it's just Brian Grimes, Brian Grimes, Brian Grimes. And all that is tactical. Some people don't understand what I am saying, It's like stick brick in their ears. That is exactly what is happening. It is strategic, because once you control the media, and once you can massage the information that gets out, then you'll be able to indoctrinate, you'll be able to convince, you'll be able to get people to go a particular route or to a certain line. And that is what the NNP has been able to do effectively so for the many, many, many months. So I am saying government is performing, government is doing stuff, but that is not enough to cause you to be re-elected. You have to focus on the politics. That is where victory will come from. The politics. We have to see the pure arm of the NDC doing more. They are dead, more or less. And we need to face that fact. You hear very little about the party. You hear very little from party, senior members of the party who's supposed to be out there promoting the party and also promoting what the government is doing. You hear very, very little from them. You're supposed to be able to have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spokespeople out there speaking on issues, promoting the government and promoting the party. So whenever something comes up, they will be on top of it. They don't have to ask about what is happening with the market vendors and why there was a communique on social media and the market vendors did not get it in their hands, and why there were no meetings and so on with them, that kind of thing. You would be on top of things, right? You'll be on top of things. You would know what is happening. So there is no disconnect between government and party. No. The party is supposed to be informed, because you have people within government who would make sure that happens, so you can promote your government and you can promote your party. That is what's supposed to happen. You cannot have government performing well and the party people not aware of it. Yes, they might hear or see a little piece of it in the news, but it's supposed to be communicated to them so that they can properly respond, so that they would know what is happening. So when something pops up, they could easily respond. They can go do an interview, they can go on programs and so on, they can speak about it. But being silent and thinking that this thing will just go away, and there are some people within the party who are extremely arrogant, very, very arrogant. I listened to a voice message from one of them. Arrogant. They're out of touch, and they believe that everything will just go away like this. It is silly, it's stupid to believe that. So there are some people within the party who needs to either shake up or shake out. They don't understand the politics. They don't know how to navigate properly and capitalize on the good performance of the government. And it's a burning shame. It's sad, but we have to say it as is. They're extremely arrogant, that they have become so big that they're above everybody and above everything. You know, they're wearing a jacket and tie now, or they have some big advisor role or some big work or some kind of thing, and they become so big and untouchable. It's the same attitude that existed between 2008 to 2013. And it's a word to the wise. It's the same attitude. They forget the foot soldiers. They forget the people in the villages and within the constituencies who voted for them, who supported them, and as though they become so big that they, a lady called me. She has a disability. She said during the campaign, on election day, but she has never voted for NNP, period. She always voting for NDC, right? And they normally would come, pick up with a wheelchair, because she has a disability and she will go and vote and they will bring her back. So they did that the last election, like all other elections. And her house is not 100%. So there's the material assistance program. So she called, they tell her, well, get the estimates, get it this, get it that. She got everything, the bill ahead and everything. She brought it in. And they said, well, they said to her, they then turned around and said to her, well, we're going to put you in, but you have to wait because under the NNP, there were a number of people who applied for housing assistance. And they're up in front. Utter rubbish. So she has to wait for all these people who the NNP, under the NNP, that they put in front. You have to scrap that. The politics dictates that you scrap all the people who applied under the NNP, you scrap that and you do it from fresh. You do the thing from fresh and you make sure that your people get the opportunity to get materials too. Because under NNP, it was just the NNP people getting materials. So the politics, they just don't have the politics. They have the book sense and maybe the academics, and they believe that they're smart. They believe that they're bright. It's stupid. So to tell her she has to wait, right? Because some of them NNP people, they put, they apply before and whatever. You scrap that thing. You get rid of that and you start afresh and you make sure that your people get material assistance too. It's what it is. Talking about you had things there before and who in line with stupid dotishness. And these are the things that make me get angry. So if they have the roadwork, the debushing program, they want to be fair, they want to be nice. Give me a damn break. You want to be nice to who? Give your people the roadwork. So you have a gang of 7? Put 2 NNP and take 5 NDC people and put them in the gang. So what? When NNP was in power, our NDC people were not even getting a fortnight on the road. Put your people who you're trying to play nice with. Put your people there. Give every one of the contractors should be NDC people, not no NNP. When NNP was in power, they were giving their people the contract. You ever see an NDC get a contract under NNP? Something wrong with all you. And that is how you keep your people, you keep your base, right? Even if you rotate it to give the different NDC people within the different constituencies, right? You give them. So if you have, let's say, 15 contracts or 20 contracts this fortnight or 50 contracts, you give 50 NDC. And then the next fortnight, you give another 50 because sometimes you have 3 fortnights and another 50, the contract, and then the workers. So you give your people the contract, and you give them the bushing work, and maybe you give a 1 or 2 NNP apply. But other than that, you focus on your people. That's how you keep your base. That is how you win an election over and over and over again. You can't play nice. You go play nice to the NNP? You're joking. The NNP is like a bad thing, right? Bad something. Straight up. You could give them a car, right? So you pick up a NNP man, for example, or NNP woman. You give them a car, you give them house, you give them everything. They still go in and mess you up. They still go in on your back and mess you up because that's their nature. That's it. That's how they function. You can't appease them. You can't like them. You can't play nice with them. No, or else you're going to lose the support of your foot soldiers. It's simple like that. So you have to take care of your people. So the material assistance program, you can't play nice and try to buy NNP support. NNP, don't worry, no. They're taking the material, they're taking everything, and they're still voting for NNP. Well, you don't understand the politics. You don't understand it. You're joking. Look how they're treating Delma Thomas, for example. They own, Look how they're treating her. Yeah. That's how they are. So you cannot play nice with the NNP, period. You can't. You have to understand your supporters are out there and you have to give them, because they were left out for 10 years, Don't think you could just come and usher in something new and everybody go be on your side, You joking? Tillman Thomas tried that, and they crucify him in the streets. They crucify him in the streets. The minute time he says he's a soldier for Christ, they hang him on the cross. Yeah, he left the institutions to just function and the people to, where you're joking, you have to put your feet down and control the show. And through the social safety net programs is where your support base would be happy. So the Poor Relief Assistance Program, you're doing the recertification, clean the thing, and bring on those NDC people who are left out, who need the $300. Put them on the list. Get them on the list and clean the list. Purge the list. Clean it and put your people there. Because when you put your people there, because they were never there for the last 10 years. Never there. They never gave our people the opportunity to be on the Poor Relief Assistance Program. Look at the people who get in the money, the Poor Relief Assistance. People don't have to tell me anything, I know, I normally go around during the election campaign day. I used to go around when they're giving out that money at those different locations. And they observing who gets in the money, You remember they used to give it in community centers in St. David's, in the Boss and so on. I going around just to see. Nobody ain't telling me that. I know. NNP people. They were feeding their people with that money to keep them where they want them. Well, we need to feed our people with it to keep our people where we want them to. It is simple. That's politics. That is politics 101 in small islands. You have to take care of your people, right? In the ministries, for example, you check out. The NNP folks are still dominating and controlling everything because what happened before the election? The NNP promoted their people and put their people in strategic position. That's why you have all the leaks and leaking of this. You have to shift them around and promote your people, put your people in senior positions and make them prominent. Appoint them prominently. All those acting positions, put your people and appoint them prominently within those different departments. Because you have people who are acting, and those NNP people, they acting, and you're leaving them acting, and then you're going to make them prominent? No. Look for your people and make them prominent. And make them fully prominent that they can remove them. That is what you need. Within the police force, for example, you had people who, NNP promoted their own people in the police force for 3 promotions, back to back. And the people they promoted is their people. In some instances, they skip them in rank. They promoted their people. You have a problem with that? Huh? Well, take it to the Lord in prayer. Because they already promoted their people. And they make sure that they're in head of department in nearly all arms within the police force. Head of department, you have to now identify your people within the police force and promote them. Because you see, some people say, well, boy, we need the thing to be fair. But if they skip you 3 times from promoting you, how could the thing be fair now by you saying, well, okay, we will just promote everybody on merit and this and that? Well, they skip the people, the NDC people 3 times. You have to bring them up 3 times. 3 rank, bring them up. So this promotion, look for your people, promote them. The next one, promote your people. The next one, promote, and then you have a level playing field. Then you would have a level playing field. It means that you bring up your people that they left out for 3 promotions. You now promote them 1, 2, 3, and you bring them up to mark. Everything level now. Everything okay. So then we could have a system in place saying, well, this is how we go as we move forward. That's what it is. You look for your people. And it's the same thing in nearly all the other departments. Look, folks, the NNP people, and I will be preaching this thing over and over, the NNP supporters, they don't change. They would always remain NNP. I told you, maybe, just maybe, 1 to 2% of them might change. And you have to do a lot to cause them to change. Yeah. So I am saying to you, you need to look at your people. focus on your support. The social safety net programs, that is where the power lies. The social safety net programs, almost $100 million is going towards that every year. And in some instances more. So the Imani training program, make sure your people get in there. The Empower program, make sure your people get in there. The geriatric caregivers program, make sure your people get in there. The seed, poor relief assistance and education assistance and all these different things that they give on the seed, make sure your people get in there. The housing repair program, make sure your people benefit there. Right? And any other program that comes about, make sure your people get in there. You already mess up the CES thing. The CES thing was a wreck. And I say it with no apology. The NNP people benefited far more than the NDC people under the CES, the third phase of the stimulus package. The NNP people benefited far more than the NDC people because NDC was trying to play nice. And those who they put inside there, they were trying to play nice. Nice with who? They're laughing at the NDC people. You have one in Guav, you get a boat and an engine. You know, he normally you pass wrong when anything. You say, you don't see, all your government in power, and look, I get boat and engine, all you ain't get nothing. That's how they do it, and they boasted and bragging. The CES program was a wreck, a mess. A mess. $15.1 million. Our people didn't get much. Very few of our people got anything out of it. And we can't be naive or foolish enough to believe that our people benefit where? Huh? The majority of our people did not get our supporters. But the NNP people, they dominate the thing. They dominate it. They get. Yeah. So you have to learn. You have to learn from that. Focus on your people. How do you get re-elected? How do you win again and win again and win again? By looking for your people, you know. When election time comes around, what would cause your people to leave their house, your supporters, and go and vote for you? And that is something I challenge all those members of parliament, those who won their seats and those who intend to run again. And yes, there would be some different people coming forward and so on in some constituencies. We agree, because you want to win. But what would motivate your people to leave home and go and vote for you? I'm asking. And that's a simple question, you know. That's a simple but very important question. All right, so the people in the last election, what motivated them? What motivated them to go and vote for you? They wanted change. They wanted to get rid of Keith Mitchell. They wanted to see something different. They want Grenada to move on a different path. They like Deacon Mitchell, the young team, and so on and so forth. But when you're in power now, the Keith Mitchell thing that gone, they were able to get rid of Keith Mitchell. The NNP, they get rid of the NNP. So they want something different. They want something new. So they want to see those things happen, right? But they also want a personal touch. And people remember the last meal. You could do what you want. People remember the last meal. You hear me? You could say what you want. If you help a person with material assistance, there's a greater probability that that person will vote for you against instead of your opponent or instead of the person who's running against you. It is what it is. You could say what you want. If you help a person to get their child a scholarship to go and study, there's a great probability that that person will support you and vote for you against the person running against you. If you help a person with a piece of road or a piece of drain to go in their house or to go in a community, there's a greater probability that they're going to vote for you than the other person. It's what it is. If you give a person drinks and money or any assistance, they're clinging on to you more than the other person. It is what it is. You gonna run away from that reality? Huh? You're joking? When voucher assistance comes around and you give your people voucher assistance, it's what it is. The NDC people who never get the poor relief assistance, the $300, and they get it now, They will be happy, excited. That is the politics. So you could play nice in government and you can't be nice with NNP. They go stab you in your back with a dagger. They go take a weapon and they go juke you and you go dead politically. Can't be nice with them. So the politics dictates that there is a marriage between government and the party. Because you have to look for your people. You have to look for your people. Right? A friend said to me, Kem Jones, but me and my brother and them, they go there and they campaign and they knock doors and they this and they that. And he say, what burning him the most is the fact that the MP in that particular constituency come and take 2 NNP and give them work. And saying that them 2 NNP and them change. Well, look for your people first, give them, and then if you say them to change, then you go assist them after. But your people, show votes, I'm talking about certain show votes. They're not happy. They're saying, but wait. You understand the point? And that is kind of common sense, huh? Common sense. And you could say what you want. At the end of the day, it's about people, it's about your supporters, and it's what you do, it's not what you do, but it's how you do what you do and when you do what you do. You have to look for your people across the board. Make them happy, make them excited, because I told you, you could be the best minister of education. Look at Franca Bonadine, best minister of education. When she run, she lost. She lost and lost bad. So your government could perform excellently. Government. That will not get you re-elected. It will not. It has to be more than that. You have to understand people, the electorate. You have to understand them. It's what it is. So great government performing, they pay this and pension and gratuity, but the people who got the pension and gratuity, they were personally impacted. They got a personal touch. They got money that they were matching and demonstrating for under NNP. They didn't get it under NNP. They got it under NDC. That's a personal touch. So there's a great probability that they would support you and they will be solid, but that's just a small number. All right? 500 and something people. Yes, it will impact others and so on. Great. But that's a personal touch. And it's the same thing with the seed program. You have to give your people, so it's a personal touch. The road walk, give them the contract, a personal touch. Build the roads and drains and so on for your people too. In the communities, personal touch. The voucher program and so on, give them too. Personal touch. The little opportunities that come in different areas, give your people. That's what it is. It's what it is, people. That's the politics. You look for your people. Because when the election time comes around, you can't go to the NNP and then that you give this and give that and give this with the hope that they will come and support you. You joke you're making. When stupid season comes around and they bewitch, they're going straight back to NNP and they jump in and wave with NNP. I know them. Because they know once NNP in power, NNP does look for them. So you can play nice and play nice. Nice what? They're studying you. Stupidness about nice what? You can't be nice to these people. Because if NNP is in power today, they're looking for their people. And that's a fact. And I challenge any idiot outside there or any scholar outside there to tell me what I am saying is incorrect. I challenge you, wherever you are. Tell me what I am saying is not correct. It's clear cut. Look for your people, right? There are some people that don't need nothing. They support you. They love the party. They love you. They want to see you succeed. That's great. Okay. Put that aside. You have those who are in need. Don't fool yourself, Don't fool yourself. There are some people that don't want nothing. That's true. Okay, great. You support the party, you love the party, and you've been in NDC since you know yourself. Okay, all right, great. Bravo. What's about the people who been NDC Still NDC, and they're in need. Well, you can't play too nice and you're nice and nice and nice. Nice what? Let me tell you about NNP. You ain't know. They ain't good. They would always support Keith and the NNP, or they will support NNP even if they put a dog there, they supporting them still. Check it out. NNP do all stupidness in the book during the last, well, let's say from 2013 to 2022. All kind of stupidness. They still win 15 seats in 2013, and they still come back and win 15 seats in 2018. What did they do so much to cause them to win that? The politics, not the government. They were not performing in government. Public servants were protesting every day. The politics, what they did, they organized their constituency branches. They organized their village groups. They organized their PR, was really, really impressive. Radio, TV, social media. They supported their people. They look for their people over and over and over. They give their people the roadwork. They give their people the contracts. They give their people this. That's what they did over and over again. What you expect will happen? The people go in and support them. That's how you win an election. That's how you get 15 in an election. That is how you get 15 seats in an election. And you put your foot down. You put your foot down because here it is. The technocrats could mess it up for you. See what happened with the vendors? The technocrats. They could mess it up for you. Look at the barbers and the hairdressers and the nail techs and so on. The government, they engage in them. They engage in them now. They're listening to them and so on. They have, I think today, they have some meeting, I think somewhere in Western Hall or so again. So they engage in them, which is good. You see, there is no big set of noise where that is concerned. Initially, it started off with noise and noise and noise, right? Initially. Yep. Remember them ladies, they go in the meeting and they said, then what the government did? They engaged them, right? And then they extend the time now for them. Instead of June or July, they bring it to November so they could get their things. That is what you need to do. But that should have been done first before all this stupidness about law and what law says. Give me a damn break about law. The law says that you shouldn't smoke weed, but a police will go and arrest a man for a spliff. No, the magistrate will say you're wasting the state money and time. Stupidness. You go arrest a person for cussing obscene language. You bring them in court for that. It's dotish, stupid. Yes, the law says so, but you got to use your sense. So the law says, you have to get yourself in order as a this and a that for health thing and so on, baba and whatever. Yeah, the law says that. You go by that. If you go by that, you're losing all the votes and chaos. You got problems. So sometimes you want to bring in certain things. It takes time. You have to phase it in, a phased process. Can't just be hard and fast, and the law says so. That's what the technocrats will do. The law says this, and miscommunication. They miscommunicated when they spoke. They spoke as though they were, you must do it or else this will happen to you and that will happen to you. And they want to run away from that. If you don't do it by that time, that will happen to you. You go lose your this, you go lose your that. You go. Miscommunication. The technocrats are messing up the NDC. The technocrats, and they're doing it intentionally. And they're targeting certain groups because what they want to paint the NDC as, this elite or bourgeois party or rich people party, that's what they want to paint the NDC as. Don't fool yourself, They know what they're doing, They know what they're doing. They target the vendors. They target the hairdressers, the barbers, the nail techs. They are simple, ordinary people. That's who they're targeting. Do you realize what's going down? Yeah. And then the PR is messing up so badly that, you remember when the 150 situation came up? The PR sucks. The PR is a mess, a wreck, no good, right? They wait for the money to come out, and then they have to go back and over and over and over, when they could have explained to the Grenadian people and say, look, this is the case, that is the case, that is the case. It's just stupid. Stupid, dotish. And look, all the rubbish about give them some more time and it's 10 months and nonsense. We are talking real stuff here. for them to get their acts together. They need to get their acts together. Our supporters are hurting. Even if the government is performing well, excellently, they're doing X, they're doing Y, our supporters are hurting and our supporters are not happy. The majority of them. I am not guessing this. I move around every day and I get more feedback than most of all the ministers in government on a daily basis. So I know what's going on. I know what is happening. Come on. We need to see something different happening. For example, people are asking, but where is Kyrene? My good friend, Kyrene James. Right? She's not highlighted. They're not featuring her. They're not showcasing what she's doing. And she's doing stuff. Kyrene doing stuff. Come on. Everybody asking, where is Kyrene? No one seen her. She's not a part of the... I'm telling you. But she's doing... They're not featuring her. They're not highlighting her. They're not... She has a constituency. Come on. People were happy to hear Lennox Andrews, for example, with the Carriacou situation. But before that, they were asking, where is Lennox Andrew? Where is Lennox? Where is Lennox? And you look at the other constituencies and so on, they're asking the same for some of those members of parliament. Because GIS, you ain't hearing much, you ain't seeing much from those ministers. Right? And there are some you've seen a lot of. It can't be that way. You have to feature all of them. Because all of them working and performing. All of them doing work. Why not feature all of them and showcase them when they're doing stuff and when they... Come on. Why? Why? Kyrene is working. I know personally that she's doing work. She's not team in St. John. They're doing a lot of work. But why the PR not highlighting it and showcasing it and featuring her? Come on. It's amazing. And you hear that from time to time from a lot of supporters. I go around. I'm ordinary. I mix, mingle with the simple people. We drink, we eat, we laugh, with that, with this, with that. I'm telling you, I am on the ground. I'm not up here. I am no director of nothing. I am no senior person, no ministry, or no authority, or no this with jacket and tie. I'm not even a cleaner in a ministry. I have not received a pen or a pencil from government. And that's a fact. I'm telling you. But I'm saying all of this to say to you, I am listening to the people on the ground and I'm mixing and mingling with the people on the ground. On the ground. But I am calling on those who are in charge of the PR and so on. Highlight Kyrene James too. Highlight Lennox Andrews too. Highlight Dennis Cornwall too. Highlight Joseph Andel too. Right? Highlight Philip Telesford too. Highlight them too. You have to. Because they're doing a lot of stuff. Highlight Gloria Thomas too. Highlight the others. Right? The David Andrews and the David Andrew and all of... Highlight them and what they're doing and feature them and so on. So people are going to know that they're working and they're doing stuff. Because indeed they're doing stuff. They are doing stuff. I know that personally. I know Kyrene is doing a lot of work in St. John. So why they're not featuring it? The roads and the this and in the schools and in the community. She's doing so much of stuff there. Building houses and all kind of stuff. Why they're not doing that? Just one set of people. And remember, politics is perception. Politics is perception. Don't fool yourself. Right? If you believe there are people out there, they depend on the news, radio, TV, social media. Don't fool yourself. Right? I'm telling you. Some people are not, they can't be everywhere in the constituency. So once they ain't seen you and they hear you there and so on, they start to frame up a certain mindset when it comes to you. It is simple like that. You can't, you could be a whatever. Politics is perception. Right? And it goes pretty much for the media. For example, when I am on, I know the numbers and the people who view and listen and so on. And I compare it, I put it up from time to time. I say, well, look at Heartbeat program. Look at Sheldon Scott program. Look at GBN to the point. Look at Kellen, the Bob report. Look at, and I put the numbers up and I said, numbers don't lie. The minute time people see that, the numbers, they say, well, they conclude Kem Jones' program is far superior and bigger and more popular than all the other programs. That's what it is. So when I do these things, it's tactical. Same thing within politics. They want to see you, they want to hear you. You know, you might be doing so much work here, there, and everywhere, but they need to be featured. Feature all these people, every one of them need to be featured. There must be a concerted effort by GIS. Somebody to direct them, you know. It seems as though they're headless, where they feature all the members of parliament, all of them. They need to feature every one of them when they're doing their stuff, the little that they're doing or the lot that they're doing. They need to be featured prominently on GIS and other entities. We need to hear and see them too, because the government is performing excellently, proper, but the party is divorced from government's performance. The PR sucks within the NDC. It's a mess. It's a wreck. And if there is a divorce, then you end up with 2013 period and 2018 period. That is what happened, you know, between 2008 and 2013. You know, the government performing, nobody know what's going on. So the government is performing, but we need the party people to do what they're supposed to do. You need to be the mouthpiece. You need to be the people out there. But if some of these people are not, the ordinary simple people not feeling it and happy, right? You're touching them personally. You don't expect them to go there and advocate and speak for you and champion for you and do this and do that for you. Nah. What happening? You joking or what? You need to make sure that your people are extremely happy and they are feeling it. You have to make sure that happen. It's a personal touch. It's a connection, right? So again, I want to encourage you, get on top of this. The technocrats, they are running the show within government, and they don't care about you, whether you get re-elected or not. And in many instances, they're working for the NNP to undermine you. Very, very important. To undermine you. And there cannot be a divorce between government and party. You need to have people within the party who can defend the government, who can speak on what the government is doing at different levels. And not only the heartbeat program. It has to be all about the police. They have to be out there speaking on your behalf. They're not bound to come here. I don't need them really and truly. I can handle my own bees, right? Because they ain't here. The rating and the numbers are way up. It ain't make any difference. They come and do an interview or a thing. It doesn't make a difference. It's simple like that. I can handle my own biz. But we want to see them out there, right? Come on. Your presence must be felt. And get a hold of GIS. We need to see something totally different. And look for your foot soldiers. Look for your people. And don't try to play nice with NNP and try to play fair and square and you have to give that one job to and give them an opportunity to and give them that and stupidness. Nonsense. Rubbish. Play nice and play nice what? Look for your damn people and make sure that they are okay. Look for them. If you look for them, you're okay. Focus on them. Go in your constituency, do your constant canvassing, and look for your people. Identify your supporters who have been there with you during thick and thin. Look for them. The new ones who came on board, look for them. Right? And focus. Sometimes they don't need anything much. It's important. Have a good rapport. We live in the age of information technology. If I am elected as a member of parliament, I go to every village. I want the phone number of all my supporters in every village. You hear me? So I go to Concord. I want all my supporters. I want to know all the people who support me. I go to Black Bay, Grand Roy, Marigot, everywhere. Gov, Dr. Bell, I want to name numbers of all these people. And I want to be able to communicate with them. So if I'm having something there or doing something, they know it. You have to find innovative ways of connecting with your people. Newsletters, right? Soft copy. You need to keep them abreast. Communicate with them effectively. It's important. Very, very important. That's how it's done. And once you do that, you can't lose. You would never lose because you keep in touch with your people. Right? Yeah, some ministers, they're traveling quite frequently. right? And that is a part of their job. You got to work it out properly. How do you balance that with their people and activities within the constituency and them traveling and so on? You got to balance it up. It has to be balanced, huh? Or else you're going to end up in problem, right? But by and large, government is performing well. But there must be a connection between government and the party. Because the foot soldiers, the people within the constituencies, your supporters, they have to be kept abreast. They have to be happy. They have to, you got to go in the constituency, go in the villages, go in those areas and connect with your people. You do a touchdown. Oh, we're doing a touchdown. When you do touchdown, you're speaking to everybody, anybody, all about the place. Yeah, you don't even know who's your people. And since NDC lose the election, how much time they have this whole stupidness about touchdown and we touching down. Nonsense, rubbish, useless. Take the time and go in a village and canvass the list of voters. Go and identify your supporters in your village. All of them. Go house to house and listen to them. And get to know who support you from who don't. Once you get that, you're good, because they're numbers game. So if you know that you have 5,000 people registered in your constituency and you can get that 2,500 or 2,600 people to say, yes, boy, I'm supporting you. And I like what you're doing and so on. And you find out their needs, what their needs are. Or you could start with their wants. What do they want? And then you move to their needs. And step by step, you focus on that. And you take care of them. And you keep them up to date. You communicate with them. There is no way you could lose. You could do what they could do, what the other side could do, what they want. There is no way you could lose if you do what I just tell you. You're losing what? You're joking? Just identify your people. Identify your people. Yeah. Once you do that, you're good to go. Yeah. In your constituency. And you take care of them. You're untouchable. You don't believe so? Watch, you're joking. Folks, we have come to the end of today's program. I want to wish you all the best. Thank you very much for being a part of the program. Thank you for sharing it. I wish you all the best on this Sunday. I will be back with you tomorrow, God's willing, starting from 8 in the a.m., and we will go on a journey again. It's all about information dissemination, empowerment, enlightenment, education. I want you to be in a better place as we move forward. Bye for now, bye for now, bye for now. We have to wrap it up at this point in time. Bye.
The proceeding was a paid